So this week felt slower creatively. I didn't have any huge breakthrough images. I feel like my engagement on social media dropped a little bit, and I started questioning whether I need a new lens or a new challenge or a new direction. But maybe this is actually the important phase. Welcome to the Summit Lab podcast. This is a place where I explore ideas about photography, creativity, family, and the long road of trying to build something meaningful. I'm Chris, and this is the Summit Lab. So last week's experiment was see it first. And the idea behind that experiment was to know that I saw an image before I actually pulled the camera to my eye. I was going to identify the subject, the light, and just make sure that I knew what the frame was going to look like before I even put the camera to my eye. And what I realized pretty quickly was that it was surprisingly natural. I already think that way when I'm shooting. Something will capture my eye and I start to wonder how I can compose it. And one question that I've always asked myself is, or I've learned to ask myself really, is if I see something that catches my eye, it becomes, how can I make this interesting? And so it really just became less about hunting random subjects and just it was more about recognizing potential before actually lifting the camera. And then I started thinking maybe I don't need more rules right now. Maybe I just need more freedom and really more time to observe. I I'm starting to I'm really starting to notice photography before I even take the photo. Again, I think this is just coming natural. The frustration came with time, and this has been a repetitive conversation that I've had during this with myself, is that time is really the toughest piece. There were several moments this week where I found a really cool frame, but I didn't have the time to wait for something to fully develop. We went out to dinner one night, and as we were leaving, we had to go drop some stuff off for the kids' baseball, and I noticed this really cool frame. The sun was setting. It was beautifully lighting this building. It had some cool shadows, and it just looked rural. It looked kind of run down, and it was really, really an awesome frame. The architecture looked beautiful, but without a subject moving through the frame, like a person walking through or somebody on a bike or somebody just standing there, I just knew there wasn't anything there. And I just didn't have the time to sit and wait around for that moment because we had to go do something. So that was really what troubled me. And it happened multiple times. I found these moments, but just didn't have the time to sit and wait. And so what I realized is that photography is not only necessarily just finding something, sometimes it's just about waiting. And I've heard this too, as I've looked for inspiration through YouTube videos and things like that. I've heard people say this same thing, is you find the frame and then you wait. Now even saying this out loud, it reminds me of fishing. I used to fish a lot, and I used to do a lot of fishing tournaments, and it is such a patience game. Really, life is a patience game. I mean, kids, you name it. It's all just a patience game. And so that's again where I struggled this week, was just with having the time and the patience. And I don't know that it was necessarily like truly patience, but it's just the time. Like I've got a lot going on like everybody else, and I couldn't just sit and wait for things. So maybe I just need to find more time to do that. Um, Part of that struggle too is like I'm on this journey of now capturing an image every day. And this week, I didn't get anything that I would consider like portfolio level images. And with that comes some discouragement because I want to be capturing great images every week. And it often just felt rushed. Again, like it's the same thing over and over again. And I can see like the Instagram engagement slipping a little bit, and that's easy to tie those numbers with your confidence and wondering like, am I progressing? Am I doing what I should be doing? And I know I know that deep down, like, um I shouldn't be chasing validation, and I'm not. Like I've said that before, but I know I shouldn't care, but sometimes I do. I think that as humans, we want recognition. We want people to like what we do. We want to make people happy. We want to inspire people and be role models, and all these things that I think that we just chase as humans. It's just natural, and I have to I have to struggle to get through that. Um, One of the exciting things for me this week was exploring. I talked last week about maybe just starting to take the bike around locally rather than having the burden of being in a truck and finding a place to park and driving 100 feet and then getting out and then getting back in and another 100 feet and seeing something else. And so I started taking the bike around, and that was actually really fun. It was actually really inspiring too, because what I basically I just take the bike out. I have my camera around me on the rope, and it just hangs off my back. And if I see something that catches my eye, I stop and try and get a photo. And what I found a lot this week was I found a lot of really cool spots, but I I don't have the final image for that spot yet. It's almost like I'm mentally mapping scenes and possibilities, and that's inspiring. I know that there's an image in some of these locations. I just haven't found it. It's like I'm I'm collecting locations faster than I'm collecting photos right now, um, which is it's both discouraging and also really exciting. Um, and through all this, I started questioning like, do I need to start using another lens? Is the 35 millimeter just not cutting it? And should I switch to something else to spark that inspiration again? Because the 35 millimeter is truly a really hard lens. I still struggle with that focal length. I know I know what it does now. I've used it enough. I'm on like 33 days in a row, I think, right now, where I've captured at least an image. And sometimes that's coming back with like 7 images to choose from. And sometimes when I can get out and explore more, I've got, 50, 75 images to choose from. But I started to question if like my creativity was stuck, or am I just in that like middle stage of that initial spark being gone and that initial excitement. And now I'm like in that grind of just doing it every single day. And I I think the answer is not, I don't need another lens right now. I just need another 1,000 frames. I just need to keep on going. And I take it back to running too. Like I talked before about how you get in these lows while you're running. When you're running at long distances, you get into these lows where you feel like you just can't go anymore, and you just have to get past that. You have to get through that low, and when you emerge out from the other side, you realize that you have more. And I feel like that's where I am right now. I feel like I just need to keep going and keep doing this every day and not care about the results, but just get the reps. And so I think next, I don't need a hard experiment next week. The new challenge is just patience. There's this woman on YouTube who has been so inspiring to me lately. Her name is Riley Reel, and she just spent a year of her life working on YouTube and following her passion and following what she loved to do. And she just did a recap video that I watched last night, and it was all about her struggles and successes over the past year. And it's just so inspiring. You see moments where she's just crying and wondering like what the next step is, but she just keeps on going. She keeps putting in the work. And and I think again that's where I am. It's just putting in the work and keep showing up. That for me, that's what it is. It's keep showing up. One of my favorite books of all time is called The Compound Effect by this guy named Darren Hardy. And it's all about just compounding things and doing things consistently, just consistently showing up, and the results over time will compound. And that's just what I need to do. I just need to slow down, keep the camera with me, always have it nearby, and slowly but surely these frames that I'm mentally mapping will complete themselves. They'll start to fill pieces of this puzzle that I'm building. And it may not always be exciting, and I may not always have these, again, portfolio level images. I don't expect that every day. But when you have a couple weeks of just not real exciting photos after you've had some exciting photos, then it can, again, be a bit discouraging. So I'm just going to continue to just let the photography happen and not force it, and just continue to show up. Ultimately, I think that creativity just gets like quieter after the excitement phase, and you're gonna have less breakthroughs, and you just need more repetition, more patience, and more showing up. And I think that is where the real work begins. So I'm just going to keep at this. Again, no hard experiment next week. I'm just going to keep showing up, and I'm not going to give up, and I'm just going to let it keep taking me wherever this takes me, because at the end of the day, I love what I'm doing. I love getting out. I love getting on the bike. I love just capturing. I just love using my camera. I love it. I love looking through the viewfinder and just capturing things, little things piquing my eye and capturing them. And I know that. And so I'm just going to keep moving forward. That's all I got this week. Thank you again for everybody who does listen to this and is following along. This is the Summit Lab podcast, experiments in creativity, storytelling, and building a meaningful life.